Our cats need and deserve enriched lives. But what do you do when your adventure cat goes missing? Our special guest, a highly respected veterinarian, is ready to share his tale about his cat, Rue. He is the founder of Westtown Veterinary Center in Madison, Wisconsin. Please welcome to our show, my friend and yours, Dr. Ken Lebrecht. Welcome, Dr. Ken.
Thank you, Arden. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, my gosh. So we need to quickly tell people you are not just this ordinary veterinarian that gives vaccinations and all that. You have a lot of credentials. You are on the board for the American Association of Feline Practitioners Cat-Friendly Practices. You are the medical director and founder of Fit Pets for Rescue. You founded a thing called Healthy Pet Connect. So I want to dive into that. And then people are looking at you in your office. And if I'm a cat, I'm like, I love this guy. There's cat trees galore. And there's a cat climbing tree in here. So let's slow back. Healthy Pet Connect. What is that?
I broadcast these from Bug's Cat Gym because I'm up here away from the clinic. Clinic is down below.
You got to explain who Bug is.
Okay, this is Bug. She was she's up to, with her 2 pages, like 3,000 Facebook fans. I'm late to the Instagram game, but we're working on it. So she's been basically Arden all over the world with me. I decided that I started camping with her, and I used to speak for the Purine Institute on weight management and Fit Pets for Rescues. And one time she got invited to Costa Rica. So I said, okay, asked Purine if it was okay. And they said it was. And she and I stayed in a 5-star hotel in Barcelona. We went to Portugal. We had sardines this long. She still talks about them. Just kidding.
No, she still yows about it.
but here's the crazy thing. I found that off leash, if I was in a safe area, she would follow me. And I found that out on camping. I did it in the beach in Portugal. I always have a safe bag to carry her in. So adventure cats, yes, I would always recommend a harness and a leash, but Bug and I have gone beyond that. Further than that, she's been on paddleboards, sailboats, it's all history. And Rue, when we get to her, Rue is my adventure kitten in training. So.
And because even though cats have collars, they're breakaway, and why is that so important, Dr. Ken?
I always, when my cats are outside, a tracker, a GPS tracker, and a near range tracker. But that tracker, when we have to use a breakaway collar to prevent choking, if that collar goes missing with the tracker on it, there goes our trackability. So that makes the microchip absolutely the gold standard. Many people feel a microchip can be GPS tracked. It can't. In fact, GPS trackers are very rough on the batteries. So these trackers are often on a pet and dead. So you can't find them. Or guess what? If they lose the collar, you find the collar with the tracker on it and the cat's not with it. It's a real dilemma I'm trying to solve. I'm looking at a couple of harnesses now. But again, cats in Europe, as you know, in the UK, freely roam. In the US, not so much, often for good reasons, wildlife, that sort of thing. I happen to live in an area on a lake, very quiet, dead end, that I can do that. And so all of my cats have been indoor outdoors for 20 years. Yeah.
Microchip chip. The microchip is an ID. And I've been told it's like the size of a piece of rice, a grain of rice. And what's on that chip? And why should everyone, whether they think their cat is only indoors, have a microchip?
The ISO standard, great question. The ISO standard is a 15-digit microchip. The key, though, Arden, they're easy to put in. The shelters are really good at it. They can migrate, rarely, but they have to be checked. Every time a pet is at the veterinarian, I highly recommend, if it doesn't get automatically scanned, they ask for a scan to make sure it's in the right place. Because if it migrates down to the shoulder and somebody's in a hurry, they could miss it. Okay. And the most important thing is that the information on that chip is current phone number, current address. because otherwise it might be registered to the chip manufacturer or the veterinary clinic. We're getting better with our registry. There's at least 5 or 10 microchips. I'm doing some research on which ones I would recommend there too. I don't know if there's any such thing as an anti-migration, but it needs to be placed properly, checked yearly, and then information updated by the pet owner. Those would be the three big
that's
things.
A big. So everybody, you planning to move, relocate? Make sure on your checklist, it's also updating with the microchip manufacturer, your new information for your cat, right?
Exactly. And it's so easy to let a detail like that go. There are annual fees sometimes, but people need to watch those. You don't always have to pay the fee to have the register. They may charge you a fee, but I'll have to, again, I'm digging into it deep because of personal experience now. Luckily, Rue had one and it was up to date with my information.
All right. So we're going to tell the tale of Rue. Now, what kind of markings does Rue have? How old is Rue? How did you get Rue?
She's a 3-year-old Torby. She's a spunky little girl. She actually came to Buck's Gym with a whole litter of kittens during COVID. I want to say June, July, kitten season. She hung around the clinic. We made her, the other ones got adopted almost immediately. And so we made her a clinic kitten. And then one day I just decided I wanted to try her out and see. She walked right down, went in my house, walked right outside, started following me around like a dog. It was quite amazing. So there was this bond with her that I see kittens all day long. I have kittens upstairs. I could adopt or rescue or whatever. This one just captured my heart, as I'm sure your listeners know. It just happens. So we started, and I saw her spunk. Yeah, short for kangaroo. She was jumping around, but she wasn't like Bug. She wasn't just this really social, friendly rub me. She was very aloof, and that kind of fits into her story. But for 3 years, I lived near a state park. There's a monastery across the road. There's huge open spaces, but she never strayed from my house. I would drive home every night. She would camp out in the woods. I call it Rue's Woods. She would pop out, greet me, and we would go on and do our routine. Almost to Bug's, Bug kind of because she was getting older, Bug got replaced a little bit. It was a little hard, but Rue had such a spirit. So I had to divide it up, the love between all 4 of my cats.
Hey, if cats have 9 lives, Dr. Ken, you have enough of a heart to share with all, right? So let's go back to something happened. What's the date? When did Rue go missing?
August 3rd. Actually, my girlfriend and I had taken her sailing on Wednesday night. I remember that because in her first sailing experience, she did fantastic. And all of a sudden, Thursday night, she didn't come home, and I didn't hear anything about her. And it was probably the toughest period of my life, candidly, as far as the loss. Surprise, she never strayed. The last time I saw her, Arden, she was following a flock of turkeys through my yard and into the woods. It was almost like she looked back like, I'm going to do something different here, but in no way would I ever think that she would run off. So I immediately flyers through the neighborhood. We have a neighborhood email chain. That's always should be, but I've done that before for Bug. In fact, Bug has been gone as many as 6 days, and with a tracker, and the battery died, but I'd have people look for her, and I finally found I now know where Bug goes. She had a whole nother little neighborhood life. And again, I know this is upsetting to some people, but because there's risks out there. But my cats in familiar situations, they're super wood smart and street smart. And again, my cats have never had inflammatory bowel disease, very little of these. In fact, I was talking to a veterinarian the other night, and there are some people who believe that they get less diseases, and they certainly rarely get obese or anything else. But I realize this is a choice. That's a choice that I took.
So your adventure kitty, Rue, pops a litter. They get all adopted. You realize this cat is a special cat, and you adopt Rue. And then on August 3rd, Rue goes missing. And I'm just going to pause for a minute, because any one of us, and that's happened to us, when our cat darts out a door or goes missing, isn't it like somebody just hit your gut with a cannonball?
Yes. And I think, so I immediately distribute flyers, email. I live on the lake, so I would paddle up and down calling her, because a lot of times she'd be down on near boathouses. I would mountain bike through the woods. I would hike through the woods. The biggest gut punch, as you describe it, was when one of my neighbors found a dead cat by the side of the road, and everybody thought it was Rue. And so, but I went and I quizzed. There was 3 children and 2 adults that had seen, and a collar was found near the cat. You won't believe this. I did like a lineup. Here's 4 collars, different colors. One had a tracker, one didn't. 4 cats. One was Torby, and the other 3 were dark stripe, whatever. 4 out of the 5 picked the collar that was Rue's, I was sure. And both the collar and the cat disappeared. Nobody knows where they went. And it was so like speculative and tough, right, to not know. But I thought 4 out of the 5 did not identify Rue as the cat. So that gave me hope to go to the next level. So then the flyers went everywhere across the busy highway where this cat was found. There was a golf course and a monastery with all these hiking trails. I put web cameras up, and this is where I wanted to mention the community. There is an invisible community of cat rescuers you can't believe. I know they're in every community, but I know them now. And this incredible group of neighbors that will put webcams out. So what happened, long story short, because we've got some other things to talk about. One of this generous, gentle cat lovers who would have his cat outside on a harness allowed me to put they share it, but it was Rue's little short cat tree and a blanket that she loved. And I put it there. So we started seeing cats that were similar to Rue, but they were overweight. My girlfriend and I were camping one night. We drove back 2 hours to identify a cat that wasn't her. But people started seeing every couple of weeks, people would see a little cat, because she's less than 7 pounds, dart across. And those webcams they're not very good. They get you excited, but they don't show the true movement speed. They're with low light. You can't really tell the coloring. And the trail cams are not much better because they're colored during the day, but at night they're just gray. So we spent hours watching these videos, and none of them were real. And then this Jeff called. He goes, Ken, that little cat came by and rolled upside down. You know how cats with joy do, upside down on the blanket and the cat tree. He goes, I think it's Rue. I said, but at this point, I've seen so many cats, I was a little bit, uncertain. A week later, she came back, and he had put a live trap and let her kind of go after the food and all that. And he called me Saturday morning, a week ago, Saturday.
What date was that?
That was, I should know, December, a week from this
6th?
past Saturday.
December 6th?
And he said, yep. And he said, I think I found her. So I drove over there just to kind of humor him, because I thought I'd see another cat. And she winked at me. And then she went into full. So the other thing about microchips with these typical, I hope nobody else has to go through this, but when they're in those, they're so scared. You have to get that scanner within about an inch. And I couldn't scan her. And at this point, I wasn't sure it was her. As distinctive as her size, her markings, and so I took her home, and then she winked at me again, and she was under the bed for a solid week. And I just this morning coaxed her out where she would eat with me in the room, but she loves milk. And I bought some half and half. And last night she had some whipped cream, so she would dart out. This time she came up and put her paw towards the half and half as I was waiting. I still can't approach her.
130 days, is that right?
Yeah, I didn't do the math, but yes. Yep, 130, not 120. Thank you.
Wow, or 120. Either way, it's over 100 days.
I just went 4 months, 30 days average, but you're right. There's a few extra days there. Yeah, I think it is closer to 130. I'll do my math for you.
What did it feel like when you really realized it is Rue? We went from the gut punch cannonball to what?
I've told people it's like, I feel like I won the lottery. It felt like a huge cloud. And I've got so many other things to do that all of my projects, my startup, my clinic, all that, I'm sure suffered. I know I had a shorter temper. I was at the clinic, felt like half the time I was making new posters and laminating them, just things that I should have been doing other things, but I couldn't. And I couldn't celebrate things the way I usually did. And so honestly, and I was honestly scared the first week that I wouldn't see or know the little Rue, whatever happened to spook her. And I really think something scared her, or she followed something, but I was worried that her spirit would have been changed. But this morning I saw the little Rue. She's so curious. She sits up like a groundhog. I'll
maybe a kangaroo.
Yeah, like a baby kangaroo.
So we have a few minutes left. I really want people to know that you are a veterinarian that's all about enrichment and keeping our pets at good health. And so what is the Healthy Pet Connect? How can people find out more about that, Dr. Ken?
In short, we have Spudgy, a 37-pound cat who you saw at the beginning, who now weighs 12. He's mine. We have a precision scale and an app that your veterinarian gets a free dashboard, and your veterinarian is fully in charge. We're just telemonitoring, but your veterinarian then can see anything at home, body weight, temperature, all kinds of new technology coming. And that way they can help without a veterinary visit. So being cat friendly means many of these cats do not need a trip to the veterinarian. Telehealth is alive and well, and telemonitoring is a strong part of that. We have feeders, microchip feeders that are connected. We have scales that go under the litter box. Ours is a freestanding scale. I was just out in Los Angeles, and the innovation, you can't believe the trackers that are coming. So we got Patches, which is in Richmond, Virginia. He weighed 42 pounds. So he upped Spudge by 5. He now weighs 28. He's on our system, on our platform. And we just found out today we're going to be enrolling a 30-pound cat, the Madison Cat Project. So Dane County Humane Society and Madison. No. Sorry. Enrichment involves, but they need to get to know each other. Spudgy, it relates to, actually, sorry for that interruption. We hope that we can get Harley, is his name, into Bugs Gym, but it's going to take some cautious introduction.
What is that, quickly? Because I know, but I think people need to get a visual. What is Bugs Gym?
Bugs Gym. So basically it is our cat enrichment center. That's a climbing wall. Not a lot of cats use it. We obviously have the treadmill. This is the original Bugs Mountain. We house cats, condos. We've actually had 2 kitten Olympics here, and we're going to have a third in 2024, right?
Awesome.
But really what it is we have Cats Night Out here every month, and we'll do weight management discussions, nutrition discussions. Sometimes we just have a Halloween party. Bugs Holiday Party is a week from this Wednesday, where we have cats upstairs and dogs downstairs. I don't want people to think I or any of my companies are cat only. We do lots of dogs, and I find many things that are cat friendly are also dog friendly. Treats, lots of, know how to interact with them and de-stress them. Adaptable in the rooms, feel away in the rooms. These are things that I've learned from wonderful people like our beloved Dr. Colleran, who passed, all of the great feline practitioners, past presidents I sit on the board with. I soak up their knowledge, because there's so many talented people that serve those associations in order to make guidelines for veterinarians.
So 30 seconds. We know about the microchip. Keep it updated with your moving. What are a couple quick feeding tips and exercise tips to keep our cat healthy?
That's a loaded question. I can't cover that. That'll have to be a next episode. I would just say this: give every pet that the love every day. You never know when something's going to happen. They're going to go missing. That microchip, that enrichment is so important. Jackson Galaxy, so many people have contributed to this. But I think the veterinarian is just like the pet owner. We learn from our experiences. We follow our gut, and always keep hope. If anything, like your cat should hopefully never go missing. But I believe cats should live their finest lives, and everybody defines that a different way. When I had to write a tribute for Rue, thinking she would never come back, everybody assured me that I'd been as good a cat dad as I could. And that's really what stayed with me for her and I. That was the life, that was the life. Next spring is going to be hard when she wants to go out again, but by then I'll know the best tracker. I will, there's going to have to be some changes made. So
that sounds good. And how do people follow you, Bug, Roo? What's the best way to check you out? HealthyPetConnect.com is our website for all things that we can do at home. It is validated devices that your veterinarian would approve of. Westtown Veterinary Center is my clinic. I think the other important thing is Healthy Pet Connect donates a portion to rescues. And thankfully, our rescues are here for us and all the people that help rescue cats. There's just so much knowledge out there. So I did offer $1,000 reward and Jeff wouldn't take it. So we're going to help the community that finds these feral cats. There's one that's pregnant right now. We want to get in. And there's just, again, this invisible network of wonderful people that are working with veterinarians and rescues. And I want to be more of a part of that.